follow.
Hello and welcome to Trinity Talk Live, water cooler conversation from a Christian perspective. I am Ken Coughlin, and we are on the road again today as part of our 3-week series that we're kind of subtitling Matthew 25. It's about how to serve people in need. And this week, we are coming to you from the Welcome One Emergency Shelter in Belcamp, Maryland, and I am joined by Liz Tutino. I got it right?
Yes, you did.
All right. See, I've been practicing that. So, Ms. Tutino, why don't you tell us, first of all, who are you and what's your relationship with the shelter here?
Well, I am the executive director of the shelter. I've been here since January of 2017. I started as a volunteer, and I just have a passion for helping those who are homeless get a second start on life.
Well, what we wanted to do is we're in the middle of a 3-week series now where last week's episode was with the Found in Faith Ministries, which, for anybody that didn't see that one, that they're a ministry here in Harford County that provides, collects donated furniture and provides it to those who can't afford it. And then next week we're going to be doing an episode from Trinity's Food Closet. And so we're trying to demonstrate ways that people might not be aware of that they can help people. I mean, even just some of the most fundamental needs that we all have, whether it be food, shelter, clothing, and opportunities that for those of you that are watching the show that are here in the Harford County area, highlighting some ways that you might be able to help, or if you're not worshiping with us at Trinity, and your local church might be able to help out. But also for the nation as a whole. These types of resources that we're highlighting here, while they're local to us, I'm sure they've got something similar near you. And there might be things that people haven't thought about. And one of the things that we're going to highlight here today is the types of things that and help that this particular shelter needs, what's provided by the county, what's not provided by the county. Because I guarantee you there's probably even some very simple ways that you can help out that you're not thinking of. So why don't we start out by talking a little bit about the Welcome One Emergency Shelter. Can you tell us about how long it's been here and what the history of it is?
We've been in this building since 2006. Welcome One opened its doors because the county gave us space here. The organization actually started in 1999 when local churches saw the need during the winter months for those who were homeless, and they would rotate shelter for 1 week during the winter for the people who are homeless. And because that need continued to grow, Harford County gave us a dedicated facility so that we could be open year-round and serve people. This year we've served over 187 individuals who were homeless.
Wow. And what is the typical day like? In other words, when do people arrive? What happens when they get here? Things like that.
We work with the Harford Community Action Agency. Anyone who has any homeless need or needs services goes to the Community Action Agency where they're screened, and they refer them to an organization in the county that can help them the best. It could be SARC, it could be Anna's House, it could be Harford Family House, or it could be here. And so we deal just with individuals, no children, and our youngest resident was 19 years old, and our oldest resident was 83 years old. She'd been living in her car for a year.
Oh my goodness. That's interesting. So there's different facilities here within the county that serve different needs. So what differentiates this facility from some of the others?
We do individuals who are homeless.
All right, and so there's some that cater more towards families and things like that?
Families or domestic violence or...
Okay. Tell you what, why don't we, before we get into too many more specifics, would you mind taking us on a quick tour so we can see what the facility's like?
I'd love to show it to you.
All right, let's do that real quick.
Okay.
So where are we standing right now?
We are in the Welcome One Emergency Shelter in Belcamp, Maryland. We're Harford County's only year-round shelter for homeless men and women. And right now we're in the doorway, and I'm going to show you our kitchen.
All right.
So we have a full-service kitchen. We have a different group come in every night of the year, all holidays, all weather, to prepare breakfast, lunch, and dinner for our residents.
So what time do people usually come in? How much time do they spend here as far as preparing the meals?
Okay, our volunteers arrive about 4 o'clock, and they start preparing meals. While the dinner is cooking, they prepare bag lunches for the next day, and generally they leave some kind of cold continental breakfast items for the next morning.
So that's for breakfast?
For breakfast.
Okay,
Right,
and about how many people do you usually fit in here?
Well, we can fit about 6 in here. If a group is larger and they want to socialize with the residents, they can help with doing refreshments and play games with the residents or be out in the community room with them.
Okay, there's a community room.
Yes.
Why don't we go take a look at the community room?
Okay, so this is the community room. When our residents come in at night, they're checked in and then they're able to go to the dorms. After they put all of their belongings away, they can come out here, watch TV, we set up tables, they can play games, work on their computers. At 6 o'clock, the residents set up all of the tables and set them, and we all have dinner together as a group at 6 o'clock.
So about how many people do you fit in here?
We fit 33 people in here. We have beds for 27 men and for 6 women. And this is our all-purpose room. It's used for everything. Sometimes we have classes out here in life skills, financial literacy, special guest speakers, and we all congregate in this one area.
Wow, it feels like it must be kind of crowded.
It's very crowded. It's very crowded.
Do you have any plans to expand or hopes to expand?
We do. We're talking with the county right now, and they are going to give us additional space in this building. We're going to move over where the library is now. The library is redoing their space, and then we will be able to get additional beds. We're hoping to go up to about 60 beds, and we're hoping it may start sometime in 2019, but we don't have any dates yet.
Is it going to give any more space as far as the
We're
common area?
going to have a lot more space. We'll actually be able to have our tables and chairs set up all the time so that people can come in and sit down. And we'll also have the television area. We'll have a larger kitchen. We'll have more dorm space. We'll have a conference room for smaller groups. We're very excited about that. And we believe that we'll be full. We're full almost every night of the year, 96% occupancy year-round. This year we've already served 189 people.
Oh my goodness. So where do they sleep? Everybody has their own bed when they're here.
Everybody has a bunk and a locker, and I'll show you the women's dorm first.
Sure.
This is the women's dorm. We have 6 women who stay here. We usually get asked why do we have just 6 beds, and that's because when we opened in 2006, there were more services for women in the county than there were for men. And so we this is our demographic. This will be increased to probably 20 beds when we do our expansion.
Now, do the residents get to leave stuff here during the day?
Yes, they do. So everybody has their own locker. When they come in, we give them a welcome bag. It has toiletries, towels, all the bedding that they need, soap, shampoo, and they are able to leave all their belongings here. They go out at 8 o'clock in the morning and return at 4:30 in the evening.
All right, how long are they allowed to stay?
90 days.
Okay.
But if they are working a plan, it's really hard to get housing in Harford County. So if they are working on a plan and we see that they just need more time, then we will extend that.
All right. And you have a men's dorm too, is that right?
We have a men's dorm. So this is the men's dorm. We have 27 beds in here. As you can see, it's really tight. Each man has a bunk and a locker. And
do you have any married couples that stay here?
if we have a married couple, the man is in the men's dorm and the woman is in the women's dorm. And that does happen sometimes.
Now, do they have any? You ever have any kind of recreational activities or anything for them?
Well, we have a patio where they can go outside. We have some barbecues, but mainly we offer stability and time so that they can make a plan and move forward in their lives. So they're out of the shelter during the day so they can do whatever activities that they like, whether it's looking for a job or visiting with family, going to doctor's appointments, anything like that. And then they come back in the night so they have a roof over their head and a case manager to work with so that they can help them find housing, find resources that are available in the community and they just don't know how to navigate.
That's interesting. So do you have a case managers here on staff?
On staff. They're here. We have 2, one full-time and one part-time, and every resident, when they come in, meet with the case manager. They do a needs assessment, and they start to develop a plan to figure out how to get housing, how to get ahead to the next step in their life. And that could take any kind of a variety of things. They could go into senior housing. They may just need time to save money for a security deposit. They may be starting at the beginning and don't have a birth certificate or a social security card, so they can't even get a job. And so we help them with that so then they can become employed and then find housing.
So you mentioned that you can provide bedding for them.
Yes.
What about other necessities like clothes, things like that? If they
We
don't
do
have
have
those.
we do have clothing and shoes that get donated. Everything in this shelter is donated. Our sheets are donated, our blankets are donated, our pillows are donated, food is donated, all of the paper goods are donated. So we really depend on the community to help us with what we do. And we really truly are blessed that we are able to serve over 190 people and have enough to give them so that they can move on.
Excellent. I'll tell you what, why don't we go back and sit down and we'll talk a little bit about how people can help out.
Okay, great, thanks.
Well, thank you very much. So, what I want to talk about is what I promised at the beginning of the show. And you mentioned that the facility is provided to you by the county,
Yes.
but not all of your needs are provided by the county. So, first of all, what do you get from the county here?
Well, the county gives us the facility, which is huge, and we also are able to apply for different grants from Housing and Urban Development. So they provide about 27% of our budget is from county grants that we apply for. The other part of our budget we raise ourselves through general donations, and that would be through churches, individuals, corporations. Another part is through our fundraising events. 32% of our budget is for events. So if anybody would like to come and have fun and help the shelter, we would love to have you join us for bingo, bowling, bull roast, or golf.
And you got some coming up, which we're going to talk about before. Don't let me forget. Before
Okay.
we got to talk
Okay.
about those. So, I what types of things? I can see some people out there that don't know how a facility like this operates, and they're thinking, well, wait a minute. So the county gave them the facility, and we'll talk a little bit about what kind of volunteers come in and provide. What do they need a budget for? What types of things are people not thinking of that you need a budget for, that you need to have the money to spend on?
Most of our budget is for salaries. So when you have 33 people living in a communal setting, you need staff to make sure that everyone is safe, everyone is getting their needs met. We also have case managers who meet with each resident and develop a plan for them so that they can move on. And that's our biggest expense is the personnel to help people.
Talk about that a little bit more, because again, this is more than just a roof over their head. You have case
Absolutely.
managers to help people. In what way?
So as soon as a resident comes in, they meet with their case manager and do a needs assessment. What obstacles are they facing in their life right now? Why are they homeless? What kind of housing path could they go on? Do they need senior housing? Do they need to get mental health help? Do they need to apply for government entitlements? Are they a senior and they need to have senior housing? Do they have a limited income and low income housing? And so they sit down together and find out what is needed. And a lot of times what's needed is time to save money. Housing is very expensive in Harford County, and reasonable rents are hard to find and may take some time. And so we offer them time to become stable, to not have to worry about where they're going to sleep, what they're going to eat, how they're going to get clean. And then that way they can start to work harder on where to get housing or to save money or to get a job, whatever they need.
You got a bulletin board on the way in here.
Mm-hmm.
You put what job announcements and things
Job
like that
announcements. We are really lucky to be here in the business park in Riverside. A lot of the manufacturing companies that are here hire our residents so they're able to walk to work, have a steady job, save some money, and then be able to get an apartment. We also post apartments or room rentals. A room in Harford County goes for $600 a month.
Oh my gosh.
So if you're on a limited income or have a minimum wage job, you can't afford an apartment unless you have a roommate or some other kind of support system.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes a room is what you need, and that's quite expensive, really.
Yeah. So, in addition to what is provided by the county,
Mm-hmm.
you also have a lot of volunteers that come in. First of all, where do you get volunteers from?
We get volunteers mostly from the churches because that's how we started out, as a faith-based organization that the churches actually ran.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have a different group come in every night at 4:30 to prepare dinner, bag lunches, and leave something for breakfast for the next morning. So most of our volunteers are dinner volunteers. Takes about 2 to 3 hours. You come in at 4 o'clock, prepare a meal in our kitchen, serve it to the residents, and That's all it takes. And it's fun for the people in the kitchen to have a group of friends getting together to do something to help other people. And our residents love it. Most of the comments we get is people love the food here. We are well fed.
So, well, you showed us the kitchen on the tour. It's not particularly huge. So, I mean,
Yes.
what is there some variation in the size of the groups that come in to help out?
We ask that the groups be no more than six because
Okay.
of the
size of the kitchen.
size of the kitchen.
Is the kitchen going to expand if you get that expansion going
We
as
are
well?
hoping, yes. The plans have for a much larger kitchen.
So the volunteer groups that come in, do they bring the food in themselves?
They can, or we have donated food here, and each month our volunteer coordinator sends out a spreadsheet that lists all the food that we have available, and the dinner coordinators can look at the list, say I'd like 6 boxes of macaroni and cheese and 5 pounds of ground beef, and we can put it aside for that group. But some groups like to prepare their own dishes, and so they purchase their own food.
And about how many churches do you have that rotate in here?
We have 60 different groups.
Oh, wow.
60 different groups that come in, and we're looking for groups to come in to do lunches, to just come in and pack the lunches and take that burden off of the dinner group.
So you're still looking for more groups?
We always are. Yeah.
All right. And if somebody is either in their church or just a group of friends or whatever, if this sounds like interesting to them, how do they get in touch with you in order to talk about bringing a group in?
They can just call the shelter and talk to Ann Cox. Our phone number is 410-272-2229.
And who is Ann Cox, other than the camera shy one that doesn't want to come on camera? I know, other than that.
Ann is our director of shelter services, so she is responsible for the entire building and facility, and she also organizes all of our volunteers to have them come in to either cook dinner, or we have volunteers that come in during the day to help us with our clothing closet, to put food donations away, keep things organized and neat.
I think you mentioned this before, but what time do the residents arrive?
The residents arrive at 4:30. They can arrive anytime from 4:30 to 6 p.m. They come in, we check bags to make sure no one's bringing in any drugs or weapons, and then they can go to their lockers, put their things away. We always have snacks out at 4 o'clock. Then they're free to relax, take a shower, have a snack, watch some TV. At 6 o'clock, we all gather together and have dinner as a group. And after dinner, residents do their chores. Every resident does a chore to help maintain the building, once in the morning and once in the evening. They can watch TV, play games. Sometimes we have different speakers come in to talk about life skills or financial management or how to be a good tenant, and they participate in that. And then lights are out at 10:30.
And then what about in the morning?
In the morning, everyone is up by 6:15. They do breakfast, do chores, get all of their belongings together, and they exit the shelter by 8 o'clock in the morning to go to work, appointments, look for housing, look for jobs, or whatever personal business they might have.
How do they? I noticed when you were showing us the patio earlier that there's a series of bicycles out there. What
Yes.
What are those all about?
Those bicycles have been donated by individuals and by Jam Squad, which is another nonprofit. And Jam Squad also comes out in the spring and tunes them all up so they're in good working order. And any resident who has a job but does not have reliable transportation can use a bike to get to work.
Excellent. So what else is on your wish list? I know you actually have an actual printed up wish list here. And is this just things that anybody can just come by anytime and drop off as donations?
The shelter is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's always somebody here. The residents aren't here during the day, but we do have day staff that are here. So we are open for anyone to bring by donations. We go through anything you go through at home, we go through times 33.
Yeah.
So paper towels, napkins, paper plates, lemonade mix, coffee, sugar, creamer. We have a variety of items that if you're shopping and can throw an extra pack of napkins in your cart and bring it to the shelter, we would be very grateful for that. We take twin sheets and comforters and pillows, new pillows. When the residents come in, we give them a welcome bag that has all of those items in it. And if they're moving to an apartment and need sheets, we let them take it. If they leave for another reason and don't need them, we just wash them and use them again.
Now, is this list on your website?
Yes.
And your website is www.welcomeoneshelter.com,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
All right, people can visit there and find that. Now, let's talk a little bit about your fundraising. You mentioned of your budget did you say was donated?
Our fundraisers are 32%.
Wow, that's a substantial chunk of change
Yes.
that you need.
Yes. We have great committees. We have all volunteers who help us put them together, get things for silent auctions, sell tickets, and we couldn't do it without them.
Well, you've got one thing that I've seen here that's kind of a year-round thing, Adopt-A-Bed. What's Adopt-A-Bed?
It costs us $31 a night to provide all services for one person for one night. So that would be the money to keep the building running, the case management services, the operation managers in the evening. So it costs us $31. So if you would like to give a person a night off the streets and donate $31, you're essentially adopting a bed for one night. And that is something that you can do on a recurring basis. So you could just sign up on our website to be a recurring donor, and every month, $31 would come out of your account and help us fund the shelter.
Excellent. That can also be found on the website.
Yep.
But in addition to that, you also have different events throughout the year, actually specific fundraising events.
We do.
And you got one coming up here in August, right?
We have our signature event is on August 6th this year, the first Monday in August. It's sponsored by Saxon's Diamond Center, and it's a golf outing. We have up to 32 teams compete for prizes, and we have a live auction, a silent auction, and the registration form is on our website as well.
How big are the teams?
Four golfers, if it's a foursome.
And do they get to pay like best ball or something? Or how's
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yes, they do.
Because I would be useless on that. My ball would always be the one that gets thrown out. I think I've played golf once in my life, and no, nobody would ever use anything that. I'd be lucky if I hit the thing, let alone hit it somewhere you might actually want to use it.
It's a nice day just to walk the course.
There you go.
You let somebody else's ball be the one you play.
Okay, and also you have something coming up here in. I know I saw it here earlier, November, called Harvest for the Homeless. What's that?
Harvest for the Homeless is this year's theme for our bull roast. It's November 9th at the Richland Ballroom, and we're selling tables. And you come just for a great evening of music and dancing and food, silent auctions, live auctions, and that money goes toward our operating expenses. Tickets will be available probably next month, but you can call the shelter to reserve a table or to be a sponsor of the event.
So, if I were to summarize some of the stuff that we've been talking about today, I want to say that I think as far as the services that you get provided here, it's far more than just shelter.
Yes.
You've got the clothing, obviously. You're feeding people while they're here. You're helping people to get into housing, to help them find jobs. You're providing them means, whether it be the bicycle or whatever, to get there if they need to. And you're very conveniently located a lot of places that can walk. So is that, just to try to correct some of the misconceptions that might be out there, is that typical? Is that what shelters like you around the area, around the country, usually try to provide services like that as well, in your experience?
I think so. This year, it looks like 70% of our residents actually transitioned into some kind of community housing after being here. And we're really very proud of that. Sometimes it's just having some time to get yourself together and reconcile with family. Sometimes it's finding an apartment or a roommate. But I guess what I would want people to know is we're not dealing with people who are just drunk or high and don't care and are just here just to sleep it off. We are here for people who generally just need some time and support and help to get their life back to where they want. And sometimes we have people come through 2 or 3 times before they're ready to make those changes. But because our doors are always open, they start feeling comfortable that they can come back. We have a gentleman here right now who has been in several times, has a severe addiction, and we keep saying, just stay a little bit longer. Let us try to get you things. And you can just see in his eyes that he knows that this is a place that's going to offer him hope. So we're not just offering a bed, we're offering hope.
That is beautiful. And that's part of why we kind of named our series here Matthew 25, because that's in that chapter. That's where Jesus talks about the fact that whatever you've done for the least of these, you've done for me. And we as Christians are supposed to be doing things like that. We're supposed to be trying to help meet people's needs. And, God says when you're doing it for these people that are in need, you're doing it for Him. And I think there's a lot of things that people might not have thought of when they hear about a facility like this. They might think, well, I don't work there. They've got staff. I don't know. How do I even help out with something like that? And I think you've outlined a number of ways that people might not have thought of, whether it be something as simple as picking up some extra food next time you're at the grocery store and dropping it off here. Matter of fact, we should tell people the address here so they can do that. Is that all right?
Yeah.
It's 1221C Brass Mill Road, Belcamp, Maryland, 21017. We'll put that on the screen. We'll put it in the show notes as well. So literally, it can be anything from just dropping some stuff off. I mean, we've come out here today, and then we came out here once to kind of scout things out beforehand. And each time we've been here, somebody has come by with donations to drop things off, and I think that's really beautiful. So it can be something simple like that. It can be something fun, like going out to one of these fundraising events. You like to golf? You can be golfing and still be helping. And then it could be something very, very hands-on, such as coming out and volunteering. And I got to tell you, when I first started coming to Trinity back in 2011, one of the first service opportunities that I heard about was actually here at the shelter. And I was operating under some misconceptions. I heard, well, come help out at the shelter, local shelter. And I'm thinking, oh, so that's some place where they want me to come and spend the night and be there all night long, which just didn't work with my schedule. And then as we started getting ready for this episode, I was kind of hearing for the first time, it's like, no, it's like 3 hours in the evening to come make dinner and everything like that. And if that's something that you have the time to do, especially when you come with a group of friends and everything, it can be a lot of fun, I understand, and doing a lot of benefit as well. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you didn't get to say, although I've got to say that hope line you had was a pretty good one to go out on, but if you think you can top it, or there's anything else, even if you can't, that you just forgot to mention that you want to mention before we go out?
I'd just like to mention that the people, a huge majority of the people we have here are disabled, are elderly, or are the working poor. And those are the people we're helping that just need a couple of extra supports or a couple of months to save money to be able to be independent.
We all know that you mentioned you got plans to expand here in the future. If obviously we think there's probably going to be more needs, I'm assuming, above and beyond what we talked about here when that happens.
Right.
How would people be able to find out when that time comes? That can be on your website, or how would people be able to keep up to date with what your future needs are?
Yes. Well, we have a newsletter that goes out every month, and we will be alerting people to what's going on then. It will be on our website. I'm sure we'll be doing a lot of community PR work so that you know that what's happening and what we will be needing. We'll be needing bunks and lockers and extra staff. And as soon as we get more information, more dates about when we'll be opening, we will be communicating those needs, especially to the churches who have supported us so much in the past and have been able to help us get to this point.
Can anybody sign up for that newsletter?
Yes.
How do they do that?
You can go on our website, welcomeoneshelter.com, and there's a spot that says sign up for the newsletter, and we will email. It's an email newsletter.
Excellent.
So we can email it to you.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody, for watching. One last note that I'm going to say here is that, again, I know not everybody that watches the show, a lot of you are here local to the Maryland area, so a lot of these things apply specifically to you. But even if you're not, I guarantee you there's facilities like those that we're covering during this 3-week series close to you, and I guarantee you they have a lot of these same needs that you might not be thinking of. Lots of ways you can help out. Might not be that big of a time commitment, might not be that big of even an effort commitment. And so explore those. Look what you've got in your local community. Maybe give somebody a call and say, hey, what do you need? How can I help? And see what they have, what list they can give you. And maybe you can also help spread the word to your local church or your local community as well. So if you did like this episode, do me a favor, go ahead and click the like button. That's a thumbs up button right here on the YouTube page. Also, please subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on this episodes like this, other episodes we got coming up just like it. and share this video, especially those of you that are in the Harford County, maybe northern Baltimore County area. You might have a lot of friends in this area in Harford County that can help out with this facility. We'd like to help get the word out, so please share it amongst your friends and family as well. We do have a Facebook page here at Trinity Talk Live Podcast. Give us a like on that, and you can give us any ideas you have as far as feedback, future show ideas, things like that. Next week, we are going to be finishing up our series on Matthew 25. We are going to be, I guess, back home in a manner speaking. I'm looking at my wife because for those of you that don't know, we did cover this on the one-year anniversary episode that my wife, Mary Kay, who's behind the camera on most of these shows, actually is our staff liaison for the food closet at Trinity. That's one of her paid jobs, unlike this one, which is not. And so we're going to be filming from Trinity, but still kind of on the road because we're actually be doing that episode in the food closet, so you can get an idea about what that kind of ministry is all about. And then after that, the week after next, after we close out our series here on Matthew 25, we're having an episode that we've been kind of drumming up that hopefully you're all looking forward to, where we were granted permission to go to the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C. We filmed an episode down there, kind of a walkthrough. It's not going to spoil the whole experience for you by any stretch of the imagination, but it's going to give you a little bit of a taste for it so that you can maybe whet your appetite and plan your own trip. All right? So I would like to, one last time, thank Liz Tutino. Did I get it right this time, too? Look, see, even at the end of the show, I still remember the name. I'm getting good at this. So thank you, not just for being on the show, but letting us come in here and showing us around. It's a neat experience for us to kind of get out, as much as it's a lot of work, for us to get out from the normal set and come out in the community. We really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for visiting.
All right. And thank you all for watching, and God bless.
In your word we